Everyone talks about being kind, and then I notice that everyone's thinking of themselves. And so when I think about this, I look at society as a whole, and I'm like, what is wrong with this picture? So I really want to dive into the idea of actually fulfillment and happiness within ourselves, and how it comes from kindness, and how it's about being kind to other people and thinking of other people as much as we think of ourselves. We're in this very self-centered society. We're going through a lot of like this identification with the gender roles and just the way we think about life. Like, I don't have opinions on that, but what I'm saying is it's very, very self-centered and self-structured. And I think when we become more selfless, this is when we actually find peace and joy in ourselves. It's through service, it's through giving back. I'm gonna use an analogy. I'm gonna date myself right now, but when we used to rent VHS tapes, they'd have like a little sticker on there that say, "Be kind, please rewind." But think about that, right? When we do that, we're thinking of the person that is going to get that videotape the next time around, and we're not thinking about ourselves. And I think what's happened with society is that we become so self-centric, so self-centered. And I think it's important because I think that there was an idea of being so collected that people didn't have identities and they couldn't express themselves. And everybody was very uniform, right? And we see that go on in a lot of cultures still. Places like Japan, where we do know, just statistically, they have a lot of, suicides and depressions and things like that. So I'm not saying it's wrong to think about yourself. I'm not saying it's wrong to not be identified with who you want to show up as in the world. But what I'm saying is anybody that develops themselves internally and spiritually, what they're really doing as they grow throughout life is they start to look at outside of themselves, right? And see who can they help? How can they be of service? What can they do to make the world a better place? And the Dalai Lama says this. He's like, if you want to be happy, stop thinking about yourself. So, and I think that there's something else to be said about the brain and how it works. The moment you start taking your thoughts that are just continuously me, and you start directing them outwards in a positive way, right? Because we all know that the transformation does start by turning within and thinking about ourselves and doing the work. But once you've done that, if you go out and you project those thoughts out onto other people and you say, how can I be of service of these people around me that are less fortunate than I am, you really start to elevate yourself as a person. And I'm not just saying in, the spiritual karmic way. I'm telling you, being of service is actually the highest level of entrepreneurship. It's where most people get to. You see these billionaires and they all become philanthropists, right? They want to give back. So I just want you to know that the journey you're on about being kind to other people and doing all these things, think about if you're really actually being kind or you're spiritual bypassing. Think about if you're actually showing up how you say you want to show up or you're just being self-centered. And in business, a really good example of that is simply something like sales, right? Like, am I like, I want to get this person in my program so I can make money? Or am I like, do I want to get this person in my program so I can change their life? And the byproduct of me changing their life is the energy exchange is money for me. So thus it changes my life. So this is a reframe that I want you to think about because it's very, very powerful and it shifted my life. And I know it's really corny and I know it's dating me, but that be kind, please rewind. I mean, that's just magic. That's just the fact that I'm just gonna think about the next person and not just myself. And I think if you do more of that in your life, you do more of that in your business, I think you'll create tremendous value for the world, and then you in return will be valued, right? Because we're looking internally so much because we wanna feel value. We wanna be validated. We wanna feel good. But really what we want is the admiration and respect of people that we admire and respect. And to do that, it's about being kind and giving back and thinking of somebody other than ourselves.